Hi, Gary. Welcome to the Animal Tone podcast.
Well, thank you very much for having me, Claudia.
Yeah, so this was going to be my next question, and it's come up several times in this season, and in the podcast in general, a couple of times, that if we're moving towards a future, a non-violent future, a future in which the relationships between humans and animals are not what they are today, that are violent and that involve respect of animals, that the steps towards that future involve numerous strategies, and that abolitionists and abolition ideas of non-use are just one of many ideas, and that we need all of these interventions. We need people that are in policymakers that are busy pushing for small-time reforms, and we need people like yourself who are saying no use, we shouldn't use anything, and all of these voices create, I guess, a new norm and a new idea that makes it more palatable, to use, I think, a good word here, to more palatable the idea that animals should not be used. So that changes the norm, it changes the kind of psyche over time. You think that even though all of them are working at the same time, they don't create this kind of,
No,
why
no.
is that?
On the contrary, I think to the extent that you've got people out there saying you can still use them, then all that does is completely marginalize the people who are saying no use. You see, the paradigm is it's the dominant paradigm. You can't even say that these are like competing voices because they're not competing voices. Those of us who are promoting abolition, we generally tend to not be. We're not part of. I'm not part. I don't run a group.
Mm.
I'm an individual academic, and I do what I do. And most of the people who do this are doing it sort of on a grassroots level. The large groups are all singing from the same hymn sheet, and that is once you say to people that the issue is treatment. If you've got two paradigms, the issue is treatment, the issue is use. For me, the issue is use. How do you justify use? For them, the issue is treatment. How do we make treatment more humane?
Mm.
That is going to completely drown out the use paradigm, which it does. I mean, it does, and it's intended to. I mean, that's the thing. If you tell people, well, look, there's 1,000 voices. You got the people out there who say you shouldn't have slaves at all, but you got all these voices who say whip your slaves, more gently or less frequently, or be a more humane slave owner. Those people are going to be people are going to be much more attracted to those people because they want to continue to own slaves. So
Mm.
if this is something that requires sort of a paradigm shift in the individual's head. And I don't think, frankly, you're going to do this with policy. I don't think you're going to do it with law. We are talking about an industry that is responsible for billions and billions and billions of dollars. This is a mega industry. And until you shift the paradigm and get a critical mass of people who say no, use can't be justified, nothing's ever going to change. And I would say this: I've been doing this for 40 years of my life. More animals are being used now in more horrific ways than then. More animals are being. We've had animal welfare for 200 plus years. And we're exploiting more animals now in more horrific ways than at any point in human history. It doesn't work, Claudia.
Mm.
It just doesn't work.